All right, everyone, we have justice for Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Link in the description, archived, of course. The lawsuit that has been filed in New York State in order to get recompense for what the state did to these poor animals has gone forward another step. It's still active. It looks like the state of New York may end up owing 10 million bucks or so for euthanizing a squirrel and a raccoon for literally no reason. Now, in the state of New York, certain animals you're not allowed to have them as pets. So if the state arbitrarily decides that you're keeping them as a pet, they can take them, seize them, at gunpoint, and euthanize them. This is a retarded practice, by the way. The government should not be able to tell you what kind of animals you can own. Now, if you abduct it from nature and, force it into a cage or something like that, then I do believe in, laws with regards to animal cruelty and things like that. Nobody should be abusing animals, taking endangered species out of the woods and, they're putting them in a cage and stuff like that. But raccoons are not endangered. Squirrels are not endangered. If they have been raised in captivity from the get-go, if they were orphaned and you took them in, you took care of them and stuff, you're part of their family. Effectively, they are family members. It is completely wrong for a state, therefore, to rip them away from the family and randomly euthanize them. Everyone was outraged about this, by the way. This was a unifying issue. It's one of the few times when liberals and conservatives got along. People on the left didn't like that an animal was euthanized. People on the right didn't like that property rights were being violated. And it is a violation on both ends. This is animal cruelty by the state. It made absolutely no sense. You've got some couple. They've got a pet squirrel and a pet raccoon, and they get big on the internet. And the authorities get wind of this, and they say, "Oh my God, they're making money. How terrible. What a terrible, terrible thing. They're making money with a squirrel." And so they decided to kill the squirrel. That's basically what happened. The state of New York should be found culpable. They should have to pay up. They should have to pay the entire total. I realize this means the taxpayers of New York are effectively paying for their own state government euthanizing several animals. But at the same time, it's still justice, at least for the couple involved. Unfortunately, all the money in the world is not going to bring Peanut or Fred back, which is sad. And I couldn't believe it when I first saw the story. I was like, yeah, the state actually killed somebody's pets simply because those pets were unauthorized. Well, if they're unauthorized, then if you're going to seize them, just let them out in the woods. It's a raccoon and a squirrel. What the fuck are they going to do? The squirrel's going to go off and find acorns. The raccoon's going to go off and find like fish or something like that, and hopefully they survive. Probably not, but there's a chance. Instead, you deprive them of that chance by simply killing them. It made absolutely no sense. And I guess it has something to do with like, I think that they were using rabies as an excuse. Oh my God, well, these unauthorized pets, they might cause human contagion or something like that. Well, I mean, who cares if they get sick because of their pets? How is that any different from somebody getting toxoplasmosis from their pet cats? How is this any different from people getting like AIDS from fucking the dog or something like that? It makes absolutely no sense for a state to be able to proclaim that anything other than perhaps an endangered species or one that would be particularly vicious, like a fucking tiger or something, should be outlawed for private ownership. It makes no sense. I mean, zoos have them. How is that any different? Oh, that's right, the zoo is paying tax money. in order to show the animal off to other people. It's all about the money. It has nothing to do with anything else. They don't even give a shit about endangered species. Even the Environmental Protection Agency doesn't really give a crap about endangered species. They're more than happy to open up a new dam and destroy the last remnant newt colony that happens to be living in the cliffside or something like that. They have no problem with this. As long as money is to be made, that is what government is for. Now, I think that in this particular case, they will prevail. My prediction is that the lawsuit will actually carry because the idea of killing these two animals that could have been released into nature at the very least is so absolutely beyond that I can't imagine that any real defense can actually be formulated by the state of New York. I think there will be a settlement. I think what'll end up happening is it won't go full on. They'll just settle and they'll say, okay, look, I'm not going to give you $10 million and go full court. We'll give you like $2 million. $1 million for a squirrel and $1 million for a raccoon. That's pretty good, right? I mean, I know that we killed these animals under supposedly happy conditions. You suffocated them to death when you euthanize them. But it was less painful than being ripped apart by a coyote, I suppose. So we'll give you like $1 million per animal or something like that. And they'll probably take the settlement and then it'll go away. It'll still be a travesty though. This is how the government operates. They constantly look for ways to grind people down. It's an extreme authoritarian system when you really think about it. Unfortunately, the squirrel and the raccoon got the fuzzy end of the lollipop in that particular ordeal. That's about all. Peace out.